talking about the John Carroll game in 2011 today. These games were picked by combination of some coaches and alumni. 2011, John Carroll played them in week 7. We were sitting at 3-3. At that point, we had a close loss 2 weeks prior to Baldwin Wallace. And the week before that, had a one-touchdown loss to Mount Union. So we're sitting there with 3 losses. John Carroll came in with a 4-2 record. And obviously, for us to finish with a winning season, this was a really important game. So that's kind of a little bit of the setup of the game. The game started off, we got up 14-0. A good start, early touchdown in the first quarter, early second quarter. They came back and scored 21 straight points. And we scored to tie it up with 8 minutes to go in the game, and then finish it off with a field goal with a minute to go. Coach Russell, why don't you tell us about a couple of the guys on offense this year?
I think where we were on offense in 2011 is the nicest thing we had that you'll see in the video is a lot of guys that could do a lot of different things. So some guys that could move around and get us into some different formations and make plays and timely plays, especially in this game where we had a little bit of a dry spell there in the middle. Up front, we had some good experience coming back, and then we could move some guys around to do some different things to make sure that try to keep the defense on edge a little bit.
Okay. Glenn, why don't you talk about the defense a little bit?
I think that defensive group in that year was just above anything else, was just tough, man. They were hard workers and good corner combination with Vince Callaway and Ryan Reed. And, the safeties were fighters with, Corey Spellman and Chad Coward. And the linebacker group was strong and physical. Zach Click and Joey Powell, Malcolm Burrell, young players like Melvin Williams or Ben Myers, or, some of those guys, Steve Kenny, kind of rounding out the roster. And the defensive line was led by, Cody Kelly, Trigby Hendrickson, Sean Denson, Mike King, had a couple of big plays in this game. So I think the defense in general was just a tough group, both mentally and just physically. They were just tough kids.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go to the clips. We have about 16 clips, I think, from this game that kind of show some of the highlights. I think this was an early third down play, Devin.
Yeah, it looks like here, in these tight games, it usually comes down to 6 or 7 plays, and this is kind of what we were talking about of being able to put guys in different places. We take our running back, Justin Banger, put him out there in the slot. We get a little scramble drill going on, and Tyler Rue here, a quarterback, just gets out and makes a play and moves the chains and, puts us in a position to continue the drive. Same kind of deal here, right? We're coming out, mixing up the formation. It's good drop back. It looks like Andy Park up there on the curl route and again, putting us in position to get right up there into a short yardage situation.
And he's a local guy from Bryan, Ohio. Tyler Rue right there, the quarterback, is from South Florida. But this drive was a key drive early. I think we had the ball the first time, didn't score, but I believe this was the second drive of the game.
Yeah, so getting the ball out into space to Justin Wilson's always a good idea. Definitely one of those dynamic guys that can stretch the field quickly and put a lot of stress on a defense. So, good job by Tyler Rue, a quarterback, kind of recognizing the numbers advantage and some good perimeter blocking out there. And that's something that has an effect on the defense, obviously on that play, but then over the course of the remainder of the game, knowing that they got to respect the ability of Justin to get out there and do some things with his feet.
Yep, looks like Pat Arcara out there with the block, Frank Tin and Andy Park with blocks in the perimeter. Getting Tate Humphrey in the game right here. Tate was, Justin was from, going back to Justin Wilson, Justin was from California. Tate right here is a guy who was our number 2 quarterback. Our offensive coaches did a nice job of finding ways to kind of get him involved in the Wildcat package.
Yeah, so good job here, matching the numbers and using the quarterback to even things out. And in those tight red zone situations in these games, you got to get touchdowns over field goals. And good job here by Tate to get in the end zone.
If I remember correctly, this was a good example of sequencing some plays. I think the prior play, we have a similar formation and basically just ran a quarterback power. This Wildcat play with the extra blocker. and we come back to the next play with the counter coming back the other way. Big play on defense early in the game right here. They were mixing us everything from spread to full house, Glenn.
Yeah, and I think, part of that was to try to, move the front a little bit and use some of the toughness and every once in a while pressure. And this is just a good way to string it out and fighting off blocks. And again, just putting that toughness, I think, on display and winning some of those one-on-one battles up front. I believe that left defensive end's Mike Prokpovich out of, Brecksville, who's a good player for us in his 4-year window. So just a lot of good players wearing those helmets, that's for sure.
Good tackle out here. You got, I think, Chad Coward, a very versatile player for us from Shelby, Ohio. And you got Vince Callaway from South Florida, number 12. So good play in the perimeter by those two. I think this is the second touchdown drive, I believe. It's going to show a nice conversion rate here in the route.
Yeah, again, down here in the red zone, looks like we got Oler coming across for on the climb route, makes a play and gets you from the high red zone down to the goal line. Another one of those.
Good when you're tight end.
Things.
Yeah, it's kind of always nice when your tight end is able to get down the field vertically. And Jared was from Edgewood High School down in Southwest Ohio. Okay, getting under center a little bit. This year we would get a little bit in the short yardage package under center. Got a good kick-out block there, I think, from old CJ Iliff, old power play.
Out of Van Buren, right?
Out of Van Buren, local guy, still lives in Findlay area. And then you got Cedric Marshall from Dillard High School in Fort Lauderdale with a great spin move. And
it's just a great effort play by Ced to reach out. Don't love reaching out for the goal line, but when it works.
When it
Let
works,
our guys see that. Don't let our guys see him reaching out now, right?
Exactly.
Better be fourth down if you're doing that. Okay. Get another nice little dig route right here, a little square in. That's Justin, I believe, right? Justin Wilson.
Yep. Yeah, another nice play
GQ,
by him.
Also known as GQ. That was his rapper name. He was successful in the music business. I think he's still producing a few.
He might be.
Few songs out there. Okay, this is a big drive. I think at this point they had scored a couple drives in a row, so I'm pretty sure right here it's 21-14.
Yeah, and they're just trying to come out and maybe play a little conservative, or at least on these first couple plays, and again into the full house kind of deal, the wishbone kind of stuff, and run an option. And I think obviously part of the tendency was they didn't do a lot of passing out of that. So I think the defensive line and the communication from the linebackers to understand formations and kind of nut up a little bit when those things were shown. I think it was a good example by Mike there. Kind of flattening the play. So our plays that year came from the D line, the linebackers, and the DBs. I mean, it was a team effort for sure.
Mike King, I think, was out of Cloverleaf, I believe. Cloverleaf High School. Okay, so this drive, I believe, is the game-tying drive. There's about it's early fourth quarter. I think we actually end up scoring with 8 minutes to go. Mixing in a good bit of empty right here. You love that as no line coach, right?
Oh, yeah. Looks like we found a little something over the middle here. And then just good job by Coach Hajar of getting back to it many times. And then great play here, great effort by Andy Park. This is one of those clips that every receiver coach shows every receiver about blocking downfield and how to turn a first down into a touchdown. That ended up putting us in a position to end up winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, that whole team was tough. I mean, they were whiskey guys more than milk guys, that's for sure. I mean, even Tyler Rue and Tyler Joseph and those guys, I mean, Andy Park, who's a doctor today, I mean, out there crushing blocks. The whole team was kind of tough back then. More defense here, and obviously John Carroll's coming out more of a spread look and kind of a 3-by-1, but, trying to, it looks like a quarterback draw or something to try to catch us off guard, and just great instincts by Joey.
So that was a big stop. So now this is 1 minute left to go in the game, and we drive down. Again, it's 21-21. Lee Lekasevic getting the hold from Ryan Malone. Lee had been a soccer player who had just come out. I believe he only played maybe 2 years, and just a good athlete who comes out here and makes a clutch kick to put us up by 3. And, to finish a nice drive offensively, put us up by 3. So there's still a minute left, and they get I think 1 first down. We get a nice play right here, Glenn.
Yeah, Joey Powell just making a really good break, I believe, and his linebacker drop, and the defensive line trying to get extension, get some throwing lane hands, and just try to get some pressure. And then obviously Malcolm Burrell, who's a great middle player for us, makes a couple plays back to back here to try to seal it for us. And just again, it really just goes – this is the kind of game I think it's why it's in the top 10 over the last however many years, because it just goes to the total team effort and the overall kind of toughness of the group. Everyone's contributing. Got a little line twist there by guys like Cody Kelly and Sean Denson, and just trying to confuse their offensive line, and just solid play. We didn't do anything overly fancy. We just kind of lined up, pressured a few times, and just played really good, tough football.
I think it was also important because at that point in the season, after losing, maybe a couple close games, you're kind of that point where you have to pivot your season. And I think this was the 5th time in 6 years we have beat John Carroll, so that's always good. And just the way the game went with the back and forth, we're up early, they come back, and then really in the fourth quarter we just really kind of finished it off. So I think those things are probably combination of reasons why it was in our top 10 of
you just kind of see in the body language too. I mean, even during this clip, my man Ryan Reed getting a little bounce to his ounce in there and hanging out, and just they just kind of knew this was a good year. I like this team a lot.
So Corey Spellman with interception to kind of seal it off. So we'll kind of wrap up with that. Appreciate it, fellas. And we'll get to the next game here soon, and hopefully it'll be fun for everybody to kind of relive some of these moments. Go Bears!
All right, go Bears!
Go Bears!
We got to figure.